Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Thursday, May 16th, 2024. Hope you are having a good day. As always, this is serious talk about everything that affects you and your money and the markets and the economy, your jobs, your industries. You name it, we cover it without any agenda, any ulterior motive, any bias. And we mean that seriously because we know what's out there. We will state the facts. We will state where we stand. As you know, we have certain mantras. First and foremost is we the people. Second, government can't even turn on the lights without our tax dollars. Third, it's become too much of them and less of us. Fourth, 35 trillion of debt says so. $1 trillion a year of our tax dollars going to interest, not to the roads, not to the bridges, not to the streets, not to the elderly, not to the homeless, not to the children, not to the infirm, not to the downtrodden, to interest. Brought to you by a whole host of these people throughout the years, one being worse than the other, leading to this guy who has torn away the championship belt from the last guy on debt and deficits and just sheer BS. And we'll cover that in a little bit. If you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should follow us on X. Just put our name in. And of course, as always, you can email me. Just be nice. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if this is serious or not, but I'm going to bring it up. As you know, there is one person that I've gone back and forth with, have spoken to him, has emailed to him. I have said to you on the show he's a great American, but very much disagrees with a lot of things that I have said about Trump. I'm getting an email and it says, I'm not going to use the words, but it says it's from the blank clown's dad. Well, arse. The arse clown's dad. And it's saying obituary. So I don't know whether it's true or not. I know the young man was named Jason. I hope it's not. It says, with a heavy heart, I stand before you to bid farewell to my beloved son, arse clown. And it just goes on to say, engaged in a spirited feud with Gary Kaltbaum, a fellow stock analyst who he respected immensely. Despite their public disagreements and differing opinions, there was a mutual admiration, respect between them that ran deep. Their exchanges were always marked by intellectual rigor and a shared commitment to advancing the field of finance. Loving son, brother, and friend. And it's a fake email address. In mourning, the arse clown's father. Let me just state for the record, I hope it's not true. I hope I'm being punked. What more can I say? I'm not going to say it's weird because I don't know. It says born January 15th, 78, passed May 10th, 2024. And I think it alludes to this young man who I've gone back and forth with spirit back and forth. So I don't know, but I just wanted to read it just in case somebody's listening out there and knows who I am talking about. I'll put that down. Meme stocks. So what was it, Monday? Today's Thursday, right? On Monday, I came on this show and I simply went through my usual message when it comes to craziness in the market. I came on this show and I stated very simply, be careful. Don't be the last one in. I don't know where it goes from here. It's going to be random. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but the one thing we do know by precedent is all these things will go back to where they came from. And how do we know this? Well, we've studied the markets. And we were amazed on Monday that they would be going after GameStop and this AMC Theater stock because GameStop at the lows was down 90% from the highs, and AMC, and this is not a typo, 99% from the highs, and they're playing with that stock. And when I mean playing, there's some person on the web with a moniker and a name, and he put up some videos. He's supposedly the guy that started the Reddit thing, and I don't know what drives this stuff, except I do know there's major short interest. And all we said to you was just that. Just be careful. Don't be the last one in. Went through this whole little thingamabob. The stock finished at 30, and I got ripped on Twitter that night by a faceless person. And as I said to you, I blocked the person. And I never block anybody, but I blocked this person for the simple reason of it's not a person. Well, it's a person, but it's a moniker. The heck am I going to go back and forth with a moniker? And the next day, they opened GameStop up at 65. They closed it at just about 49. So we basically said to you, if you had bought the open, you're losing a lot of cake. Just be careful. Please be careful. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Maybe they gap it up tomorrow. Maybe they don't. I have no idea. And while we were doing the show in the aftermarket, they had them up again. They had the stock up again. But they opened it up down they opened up down the next day. This was yesterday. And all we really care about is outcome, right? If you bought the open on GameStop on Tuesday, $64.83. As I talk to you right now with 4 minutes left in the market, it's at $27.80, down another almost 30% today. $64.83 from the open, $48.75 from the close. It's $27.93. This is exactly what I've been trying to tell you about being careful. And I can promise you this, we had no idea whether it'd be $100 right now. And frankly, we're surprised they're trashing it so quick. AMC, even worse, hit a high of $11.88 on Tuesday. It's $4.66 as I speak today. What is that, 60 some odd percent? So let us repeat some things. And we're not patting ourselves on the back because, as we told you, we didn't know what was going to happen in the short run. We had no idea what would happen in the short run. And frankly, again, I'm kind of a little bit surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that they're smacking them so quickly. Just be careful. If you want to play in those waters, you're going to have to expect to get some riches from those waters, but potentially also get buried from those waters. Catching my drift? Potentially also getting buried from them. And look what's also happened already. I can tell you, the noise was loud. The noise has already died down major league. We will keep you up to date. We will keep you on top of it, because when all is said and done, as I have told you, The first and foremost thing about markets and your money, protect the frickin' capital. I have met people that had net worths of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million that went broke. I have met people that have made 50, 60,000 a year that became millionaires. Go get the book. I got to remember, I'll figure it out in a second. The Millionaire Next Door. Go get that book. It'll explain it all. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Thanks for being with us today. I'm going to skip over, do a little segue. And again, let me just get back to the point. We have no blood in the game when we bring up meme stocks and biotechs with no sales. We're just here, a voice on a radio, handsome and buffed, but a voice on the radio that has seen a lot throughout the years. I've seen some crazy. I've seen just over-the-top froth and speculation and just stupidity. Sorry to use that word. I know some very smart people that bought NFTs that lost 99% of their money, if not, well, actually 100%. And the list really goes on and on. And I'm just have to tell you again, I'm stunned that they went after a stock that's down 99%. And what do they expect when all is said and done? You know, there's a reason it was down 99%. Anyway, another rough day for the meme stocks. We hope you listened, especially buying the open on Tuesday. And again, I have to repeat the other side. I had no idea whether it'd be up 1,000% from here. I didn't. We freely admit it. The Dow hit 40,000 today, went a little bit above it, closed at 39,869, down 38. Market closed on the lows of the day. So I think we just froth is picked up. Put buying, there hasn't been any, so everybody's betting up. So looks like probably started a little bit of pullback time today. How much, I don't know. How bad, I don't know. We take it one day at a time. Simple as that. Tomorrow's another day. Some really good action, a lot of names in the last few days. But I also want to mention some really bad action in some areas that are noteworthy. Recently, I'm going to try and put the little pieces of the puzzle together. The bond market acted better and came down because, number one, the Fed started easing again, easing monetary policy by slowing down the unprinting of their printing money. To explain, printed to $9 trillion, let the bonds run off, so it's 8.58, and they were doing $65 billion a month. Amazing that I even have to bring this up, that any entity could have the ability to deal in trillions like this. It's insanity. So instead of 65 or 60, they lowered it to 25, and that has an easing effect that helped interest rates come down. But also, I do want to let you know, and we'll stand by this, I do believe the economy is softening. To what extent, I don't know. But I do believe the economy is softening. To the point where no disaster. But here is how you know, and how you will know the market's the economy's getting in trouble. Here is how you will know it's going deeper. The Dow will be down a couple of thousand points from here. That's how you'll know. If not more. That's how you'll know. I am letting you know that I really have never seen a market hold up into a recession. Markets usually flush it out, and flush it out pretty darn well. That has not happened as of yet. Could it start happening now? Sure. And there are areas that, economic areas that are troublesome. I've been noticing, let me give you some names. Anybody hear of United Rentals? So this to me is one of the most important economic names out there. It was down 31 today, $31. And not a big deal because the stock's been pretty decent, pretty strong. Hasn't done anything in about 3 months though, but down 31 today. And we already been telling you about the transports, how they've been acting terribly. The rails and truckers, and I gather those are economically sensitive. But I'm now seeing, and maybe this is not the biggest of deal, but there are certain sectors that we have on our software. One's titled Building, Construction, Cement, and another is Building, Construction, Products. And we're just letting you know a bunch of them are breaking down. This is not housing. This is building construction. Here's one, Martin Marietta Materials. Produces crushed stone, sand, and other aggregates for infrastructure and commercial residential construction markets. Well, it was down $31 today, or 5%, breaking some support. Not the end of the world, but other cement stocks went along for the ride. Symbol EXP, Eagle Materials, same thing. They're gypsum wallboard cement products. You know what wallboard is, right? That was down 6% today. And technically, that's me reading the patterns. They got some possible topping out going on here. So it just an area we'll avoid, we'll stay away from, but we're always thinking, and always every night we're asking questions. Well, wait a minute, hold on. So the transports are doing this. Now all of a sudden them are doing that. Now it's not been a disaster of any kind. There have been a few names that are worse than others. I can tell you, you ever hear of Builder's First Source? BLDR? Structural and related building products for residential new construction. Well, the stock's gone from 214 down to 165 in the last 6-7 weeks, and gapped down on its earnings report that was down 10%, and sales only were flat, but got hit. So just little wake-up calls of areas that we would be avoiding. We already been told you about transports. We've been saying recently a lot of the oils, not all, but a lot of the oils that were acting pretty decent, not anymore. On the other end, we've been telling you China, and China had another good day today. We'll see how that plays out. Remember, how do you trust this guy Xi running the joint when he destroyed his own companies for a couple of years? We'll see. So that's number one, is some of these areas. On the other end of the spectrum, we're into new high ground on the NASDAQ 100, S&P, and that's good news. They pulled them back today a little bit. I don't like the way it finished. If there's anything negative, we're kind of sticking up here. What does sticking up mean? Well, we've kind of come straight up, and maybe we're just going to get a little pullback here. We'll see how it goes. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, or whatever else. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
Okay. So here's the other part of the equation I just want you to know about. You know what's acting pretty good right now? The symbol is XLP. That is consumer staples, food, drug, beverage, tobacco, household products. And typically, these do better when the economy is softening. In the Dow, Procter & Gamble is at a new yearly high. For example, away from the Dow, Altria Group and Philip Morris, they kill people right at the highs. Tobacco. Tobacco kills people, right? They do TV. On TV with ads running. Don't you ever see those ads? Boy, they're so morbid, but so informational. Oh, but by the way, with their declassifying the marijuana, our great Justice Department, don't smoke cigarettes, but do the weed. They must have invested in Doritos and macaroni and cheese at the Justice Department. Other stocks acting well. Pepsi, Coke, relatively pretty decent. So something we're watching. We'll let you know. We've already told you. We've been getting emails from listeners around the country telling us about their industry and if it's softening or not softening, if it's doing this, that, and the other thing. So we'll see. And why do we even talk a little bit louder about this? The debt outstanding is gargantuan. Not just consumer. You know what's going on with this frickin' government that has now using us as the biggest slush fund in history. Brought to you by Joseph. Anyway, I digress. The next thing I want to bring up is the crypto. And we had mentioned yesterday that had a good day, but in the midst, I think we actually used the words midst of mush. Be careful there. I don't think... I'm looking at Coinbase. That sucker looks like it's about to just bust through the Grand Canyon to the downside here. That's an important name crypto-wise. So just be careful. It topped out weeks and weeks ago, that whole crypto thing. We'll see how it goes. Without a doubt, the mustard's been taken out of it. That's why you don't hear the touts as loud as they have been. And boy, oh boy, do they tout. They're so good at touting. And of course, there's the whatchamadoogie that updated her, I think she said 3.5 million target, up from 1.5. Anyway, I really don't even want to discuss that at this juncture. So Dow was down 38, but at the lows of the day. The NASDAQ down 44, but at the lows of the day. The NASDAQ 138 at the lows of the day. S&P 11 at the lows of the day. And kind of, sort of, at the close, they really smacked it in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Unlike what we have seen recently, some of our targets that we've been looking to get pulled back pretty decently today, and we're going to see if they do it in a constructive fashion or in a nasty fashion. We don't like nasty, ladies and gentlemen. We like constructive. Constructive means up on heavy volume, down on light volume, holding support levels, stair steps to the upside. Next. So if you have a chance, as you know, one of my favorite people on earth is Neil Cavuto. And let me state for the record, I've never been out to dinner with him, never been out to lunch with him, I've never been out to breakfast with him. My relationship with the man is that I'm a Fox News business contributor, and I think the most I've ever been with him is at an hour at a time, but many times throughout the years, and on set, doing TV. But as you know, we all live our lives based on what we're inspired by, who we're inspired by. And he is just one of these people that for me just inspires. And I say that because the man has been hit with cancer, open heart surgery, multiple sclerosis. He had like pneumonia COVID, where I believe he was in really bad shape. And he's come back from it all, and I don't think I've ever even heard a peep from either him or anybody that knows him about complaining about it. And he works his tail off, works his butt off, and I love he has no bias. And he took so much flack. You know, they call him a never Trumper because he went after Trump. When I use the term went after, when Trump BS's, he gets called out. But these people who call him a never Trumper, it's such BS because there is nobody that complimented Trump more during his 4 years as president on his tax policy and on his economic policy, amongst some other things. But that's all forgotten because Trump has a way of just going after people that say one. You can say 10 good things about him, and then you say one thing, oh, you're the Antichrist. But he's never wavered. He's always stayed down the middle, curries no favor with anybody, and holds the powerful to account. That's the way journalism's supposed to be. And unfortunately, in this day and age, we don't have a lot of that. So if you have a chance, go look at the video. He interviewed Jared Bernstein today of Biden fame. He's his head economic advisor, and he was interviewed. He called Jared Bernstein out on what we've been calling the Biden administration out right here. And what is that? Just a bunch of in plain sight bullcrap. And it's tiresome. And it just tells you that they believe that most people don't pay attention or are just plain stupid. Seriously, that's what I think is going on. And they get away with it because the media kiss their butts. He did these lies on CNN with Erin Burnett, who's a very smart businesswoman coming from CNBC, and she just sat there, didn't say a word, knowing he was just lying to her face about where things were when Biden came in as president. Well, Neil did not have any of it for today from Jared Bernstein. We applaud him. Go check it out. And that's the way it should be. We're so happy about that. And we don't care if it's a Republican. We don't care if it's a Democrat. We don't care if it's the Whig Party or independent. people in power need to be taken into account. They all work for us. We do not work for them, and unfortunately for the many, they think we work for them. That's why I call us the biggest gargantuan slush fund in the history of time. I believe Joe Biden thinks we work for him, even though he comes out and says, oh, the people this, the people that, we work, blah, blah, blah. That is a bunch of BS when you're running $2 trillion a year deficits, when you have raised federal spending 70% from 5 years ago. We're working for him. When the taxpayers paying off other people's loans, we're working for him and trying to get votes. And it's tiresome. And this goes for any and all. And we're going to hold them all on it as we move forward. It's simplicity. If they're going to BS us, we're going to make sure you know it. And we don't care who it is. The big BS is Biden's been coming out numerous occasions. When he came into the presidency, it was 9% inflation. No, it was 1 and change. A year later, it was 9%. What's their excuse for lying? They're saying, well, it was on its way to 9%, but that's not what Biden's been saying. He's been saying it was 9%. He is lying. Not spinning, lying. So Neil called him out on it today, and he tried to spin, and guess what? Neil hit him on it. I loved it. Up next, we'll put a bow tie around it. One more little lie, news of the day, then I'm gone. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So the other big lie is that 15 million jobs were created under Joe Biden, which, guess what? About 9 of it, was getting back from COVID. Remember, we shut down. He's counting that as jobs created under him. And the other part of the lie is he's saying that Trump had the worst record as president on jobs, but he's counting the drop in jobs during COVID. We complained about Trump, and this guy is just rolling over Trump like there's no tomorrow. And the amazing thing is he's called out on it and still does it again and again and again. And of course, CNN, in their usual bias, they have a guy there that is a fact checker. Not for Joe Biden. They didn't haul him out and say, fact check the interview, even though it's just the President of the United States. We'll do the job for them. Speaking of that, this is what I want you to be watching for. As you know, what's going to happen in the next 6 months, according to the national media, Trump is the Antichrist, and Joe Biden is an angel. ABC's David Muir, do you know who he is? He's on at 6:30 p.m. And I never watch the network news, not because I don't like them, but because at 6:30 p.m., I mean, come on, Seinfeld's on, or Big Bang Theory's on. And you've seen all the news throughout the day. David Muir had the nerve. He's going to be hosting a debate of Biden and Trump. He introduces it as Biden issued the challenge on debates. They lied. Trump has been challenging him for months on debates, and Biden didn't answer. So Biden now answers, but no, Biden did the challenging. So they're already starting up. It's Axios, as I mentioned, does an article on, get this, Trump's inflation bomb? That Trump will have high inflation because of his policies? What? Whatever the reason why under Trump inflation was low, under Biden inflation's high, whatever the reason. Let's say it's none of their faults or both of their faults. But they write an article with the headline Trump's inflation bomb? So Axios is starting up. And then they do another one, Axios. You ready? This is how they do things. Bibi's Biden rant. You know, Bibi is Netanyahu. How is it when somebody on the right says something, it's a rant? It's amazing how they basically report things. The other title from the New York Times, How Israeli Extremists Won. Israelis are now extremists. Not Hamas, but Israelis. I really should be doing a weekend show. I may just have to do a podcast on just blasting the BS from and I'm not talking about the opinion people. On the right, you have opinion people. On the left, you have opinion people. And you know who they are, and you have to realize agendas or not. You get to decide. I'm talking about the supposed straight news anchors. It's amazing to watch. Trump's inflation bomb. My goodness. And we already told you, the border, for 3 years they didn't report on the border. Ever, the media. And then Biden had to bring it up because his poll numbers were so bad on immigration. So all of a sudden they started reporting and they never mentioned the word Biden. And then they came out with some immigration bill that didn't do anything for immigration. And the Republicans wouldn't sign it. Now it's all the Republicans' fault on immigration, even though Biden's been the president for 3 years. You get the point? And in case you don't know, you listen to all this. When Trump was president, we hit him on everything that we didn't like. We hit him on the tariffs. We hit him on the BS. We've been for 3 years on the election. And boy, have we been taking fire on the election because people keep sending me videos of people putting up videos. Oh, the election was rigged and stolen and all that. Okay, fine, whatever. The fact is, who's been the president for 3 years? Somebody lost, somebody won. So we'll keep doing what we're doing. We'll keep talking the talk, and we'll keep keeping, at least trying to keep you in good stead with the market, where I'm just letting you know we went into new high ground. I'm not so sure it's going to be that easy. We take it one step at a time, and we'll see how it goes. We have an idea where leaders are. We have an idea where laggards is. That goes for countries, areas, sectors, names, and the like. Tonight I'll be spending time. Boy, tonight will be like a double scan. Tonight will be a double scan. Why? Because there's into new high ground in the S&P, NASDAQ, and NASDAQ 100. I've got 40% of the market that looks like caca. So we'll stay on top of it. In the aftermarket, just of import, Applied Materials, that's an equipment maker, closed at 214, got it at 210 and change, so not the biggest deal. That's pulled back. That looks like it was about to break out. And Cracker Barrel. I got to bring up Cracker Barrel because they have been under pressure. and the stock's getting smoked again in the aftermarket. They're lowering their numbers. They're going to try and do some sort of strategic transformation but I still love their stores, man. They have all the old candy. Anyway, hope you get where we're coming from. We're dead serious about it all. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. I should be on with Neil Cavuto tomorrow at noon hour, Fox Business Network. Check it out. Until then, have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. It's very simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Have a good night, everybody. Peace out. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.